Don't panic, US shows no sign of risking World War III. Russia's threats over military action in Syria have been loud and various. One was to shoot down any missiles launched at Syrian territory and counterattack the sites or craft from where they were launched. Another warned about the repercussions should Russian personnel or hardware be struck in an American-led assault. There is no sign that the US is willing to get into armed conflict with Russia, even on Syrian soil, a possibility some have warned could trigger World War III. Syria, however, is taking the threat of US strikes so seriously that it is moving its own hardware closer to Russian assets in the hope of protecting it from American strikes. The Assad regime is well aware of the difference between the US exacting punishment for its alleged chemical attack in Douma and choosing to engage a nuclear-armed historic adversary that happens to share Syrian territory. The US has made clear its displeasure that Russia is backing Assad, saying that Moscow shares the blame for Syria's use of chemical weapons. However, it will take painstaking efforts to avoid a direct conflict between the two countries' forces. Hence the hotline between Washington and Moscow through which warnings can be relayed, though information is necessarily limited in the knowledge that Russia will swiftly pass on everything it learns to Syria. Were the US to hit Russian personnel or hardware, it would almost certainly be by accident. Russia might not choose to see it that way publicly and would no doubt voice outrage, but internally the difference would matter greatly. Moscow reacted with outrage when Turkey, a NATO member, shot down a Russian fighter jet that had strayed briefly into its territory during a flight over northern Syria. The shooting down was not an accident. More likely it was a message Ankara was seeking to send to Russia over its intervention in Syria. Turkey waited only 17 seconds before shooting the jet down. Turkey's President Erdogan confirmed the political message, saying that he had personally given the order to shoot the jet down. Moscow was furious and showed it, but the row did not escalate. Both sides knew that there was too much at stake. The same is likely to apply if Russian assets are accidentally hit during an operation against Assad. Russia excels at the kind of hybrid warfare it used to annex Crimea, but would be outclassed in a conventional conflict with the US, particularly in the Syrian arena, where its military might is relatively puny. In fact, clashes between Russia and the US in Syria have already taken place without leading to a wider conflict, as Mike Pompeo, the nominee for Secretary of State, confirmed at a Senate hearing yesterday. He said that a couple of hundred Russian mercenaries were killed by American forces earlier this year.